Hello, welcome to today's training course. So my name is Heather and I'll be your trainer today. The course that we're going to be covering is Participate in Safe Work Practices. The unit that we'll be covering is SITXWHS005. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Beautiful. So what I'm going to hand out to you now, so this will be your presentation handout. So it's exactly what I'm going to be going through, but this is just for you to be able to follow along with me. This is your activity handout. So as we go along, I'll just say to you, maybe turn to your activity book, just in case you aren't able to see the screen or in case there's something that you might not be able to see correctly. Now this is your record of attendance. If I can just get you to sign on that for me, please. This is also a learner evaluation form. So once the course is finished, I will need you to be able to sign this for me just so that I can have feedback regarding how I've run the course and if there's something that I can improve on. Thank you. So just a little bit of background in regards to myself. So my name's Heather. I've been a trainer for a couple of years now. I've been approached to be able to create a course which entails safe work practices to be able to better your understanding in the industry that you work in. So you're currently in a cafe now?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then can you just give me a little bit of background? So your name, what you do for work, how long you've been in that job for?
Yeah. My name is Florence Mills. I've been working in the cafe as a team leader for 3 years now. Basically I came to this course to enhance my skills, and I've got very basic computer skills, so hopefully I can just upskill it as well. Yeah.
Beautiful, Florence, well, nice to meet you. Alright, so we're going to jump straight into our presentation. So let's just start off with the basic housekeeping. Okay? And as we go through this, let me know if there's anything that you can't see clearly. Alright, actually before we go any further, is there anything in line with your learning abilities or anything that you feel will be a little bit of a struggle?
Yeah, sorry Heather.
Yes.
Yeah, I get a sore arm through writing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so just having a little bit of trouble with that at the moment.
Well, yeah, just let me know and I'll be able to try and adjust the course to suit you a little bit better, maybe less writing, obviously so that you don't hurt your arm. So, housekeeping. Again, my name is Heather Martoy. So the emergency muster point. If you go up the store here, you go to the front of the gate. To the right of that gate is our muster point. Toilets, again, so you're down this hallway right. In terms of food and drinks, we do have a lunch bar just down the road. Smoking is outside, just outside there to your left. If you have to answer any calls at all, just let me know so that I'm able to pause the presentation and then I wait for you to come back. Because it's a one-on-one presentation, I need to be able to get, I suppose, I need to be able to have your full attention on the presentation for you to be able to learn as much as you can in the space of half an hour. So we'll just go through our learning objectives. So in the hospitality workplace, there are many hazards which can cause injury, disease, or even death to you or others. So being safe in the workplace is very important. So the learning objectives that we will cover in this session will be applying safe work practices in all tasks, identifying potential risk hazards and implementing control measures, and respond and report emergencies. So these are what you will cover in the session today with me. Now let's talk about the introduction to WHS legislation. So workers must follow current workplace health and safety laws, which do vary state to state. You must be aware of the relevant laws and regulatory authorities in your jurisdiction, so in your state per se. So for work health and safety, WHS legislation is currently implemented in these highlighted states here. You'll see that Victoria is not highlighted, and that is because it's not implemented in Victoria. So the occupational health and safety that they follow is the Act 2004. So everybody has legal rights and responsibilities. So you have duty of care, right? Your duty of care is to be responsible for yourself and the health of others. So all employees and employers have legal rights and responsibilities in relation to workplace health and safety. So rights are the things that should be provided for you, and the responsibilities are things you should do. So in this next coming part of our presentation, we're just going to watch a little video which entails work health and safety. Any questions during that presentation, just let me know.
Healthy and safe workplaces are everybody's business, which is why when it comes to health and safety, it's important that our laws reflect today's modern workplaces. We now have a greater variety of work types than we've had in the past, including freelancers, labour hire, gig economy workers, contractors and subcontractors, and of course, the classic worker and employer relationship we've always known. A lot of businesses operate across multiple states, and managing health and safety under different laws can be challenging. On the 31st of March 2022, most Western Australian workplaces came under a single Work Health and Safety Act that reflects our modern working conditions and is more consistent with work health and safety laws across Australia. In this video, we'll give you a brief introduction to Western Australia's WHS laws. The WHS Act provides a framework to keep people healthy and safe in all working environments. This includes providing a healthy and safe environment for workers, as well as anyone else who may interact with the workplace, such as visitors, customers, and the general public. The primary duty of care for healthy and safe workplaces lies with the person conducting a business or undertaking, or PCBU for short. A PCBU is the individual or organisation that is conducting a business or undertaking. This can be done alone or with others, for profit or not for profit. PCBUs have an overarching duty of care to do what is reasonably practicable to ensure health and safety in the workplace. This duty of care placed on a PCBU means they have multiple WHS responsibilities. These responsibilities include providing and maintaining a healthy and safe environment and safe systems of work, ensuring workers are properly trained, acting upon incidents, reviewing control measures, and anything else that can be reasonably done to ensure workplace health and safety. In some cases, multiple PCBUs may hold a shared duty of care. A good example is in the shopping centre. In this shared working environment, the centre management, store owners, centre security company, and the contracted cleaning company all share a duty to keep workers and visitors healthy and safe. This could also be true of a non-shared workplace, such as this heavy vehicle workshop. In this case, the mechanics have been contracted to service trucks for a trucking company. This means that the PCBUs of both the contracted mechanics and the trucking company share a duty to keep the workers and the public healthy and safe. This includes when the trucks are on the road. Under the WHS Act, health and safety duties cannot be transferred. Where there are shared obligations, the PCBUs have a shared duty to keep workers and others healthy and safe. They cannot opt out of this responsibility. This means if there are multiple PCBUs who are working together, they must consult, cooperate, and coordinate activities with all other PCBUs with the same WHS duties, so far as is reasonably practicable. Workers also have a duty of care for themselves and any others affected by their actions or omissions. They must comply, so far as they are reasonably able to, with any reasonable instructions given to them by the PCBU in relation to work health and safety. Similar duties also apply to other people in the workplace, such as customers and visitors. They too, so far as is reasonably practicable, must look after their own health and safety and comply with any reasonable instructions given by the PCBU in relation to health and safety in the workplace, including cooperating with policies and procedures. A volunteer organisation is a group of volunteers working together for a community purpose or purposes. The WHS Act does not apply to a volunteer organisation that consists solely of volunteers. However, if the organisation or any of the volunteers employs at least one person to carry out work for the organisation, then the WHS Act does apply. This means the organisation will have WHS duties as a PCBU and owe duties of care to its workers and volunteers. As they are considered workers under the WHS Act, they will also have WHS duties. The WHS Act also covers officers, those holding roles in an organisation that allow them to greatly influence the management of the business or undertaking. Officers have a due diligence duty to ensure that the PCBU is compliant with its work health and safety obligations. The laws provide a framework for PCBUs to ensure that the health and safety of workers and the general public is protected, so far as is reasonably practicable. Under the WHS Act, it is a duty for all PCBUs to consult with those who are carrying out work for the business or undertaking who are likely to be directly affected by health and safety matters, so far as is reasonably practicable. Workers must be given reasonable opportunities to express their views and raise issues about workplace health and safety and have those views heard. Workers can also choose to have an elected health and safety representative represent their work group on health and safety matters. Workers can also cease or refuse to carry out a work task where they have a reasonable concern about a serious risk to their health and safety from a potential hazard. This extends to a reasonable concern about a serious risk to the health and safety of any other person. If they cease working for this reason, it is unlawful to discriminate against them. There are also provisions against discriminatory, coercive, or misleading conduct to protect workers, prospective workers, those who perform health and safety related functions or activities, or those who raise workplace health and safety issues. In addition, the WHS Act defines health as both psychological and physical health. Therefore, PCBUs have a duty of care to ensure a healthy working environment for both physical and mental health. This means they need to consider and assess psychological health hazards and risk factors in the same ways they would physical health hazards and risk factors. This is a brief overview of some of the important aspects of Western Australia's Work Health and Safety Act. There is a range of WHS guidance on our website, including other videos in this series, so you can learn more about how you can help to keep WA's workplaces healthy and safe. Visit the WHS website at www.demers.wa.gov.au/WHS. Workplace health and safety is everybody's business, and we all have a role to play in keeping our workplaces healthy and safe.
Cool. So what do we think of that video, Florence?
Health.
There's a lot to obtain, but it's good. Reading like the different legislations and whatnot.
So let's go on to carry on through our presentation. So health and safety legislation requires employers too. So this is your rights and responsibilities. So employers must ensure, safe work systems, proper handling of goods, provide training and supervision, assess and manage risk. This is your employer's rights and responsibilities, so what they have to provide you with. So they've got to give report incidents, investigate and prevent reoccurrence, and provide workers compensation. So employers can expect workers to follow safety instructions and have the right to hire or dismiss workers as per Fair Work laws. Now the health and safety legislation requires workers to follow safety instructions, use provided protective personal equipment. If trained, avoid misusing safety equipment and not to put yourself or others at risk. So how to apply those? So applying safe work practices. The safe work practices include identifying and controlling hazards, handling hot and cold products safely, and following hygiene measures. So security management is also involved, right? What that involves is safeguarding cash, documents, equipment, keys, and people, and keeping the work area clean, using PPE, and following evacuation procedures. So from your experience in the cafe, Florence, what is it, oh sorry, not what is it, but do you have to cover these? So are you handling cash? Are you keeping the work area clean?
All the above.
Do you have an evacuation procedure at work?
We do.
So now let's talk about hazard, risk and control. So what is a hazard? So hazard is a situation or thing that has the potential to cause harm, injury or death. Can you possibly give me an example of what a hazard could be in your workplace, Florence?
Yeah, someone's spilling fluids on the floor.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so then we go into what is a risk. So a risk is the possibility that harm may be caused if they're exposed to that hazard. Now, do you know what the risk of the hazard would be that we spoke about?
Just falling and possibly injuring themselves, or like this scenario, banging their heads onto the corner of the table.
And then so control, it refers to action or prevention, right? Or a procedure or mechanism put in place to reduce or eliminate the identified risk associated. So how would we put in place a control for the hazard that you've explained?
Put out signs.
Beautiful. Once we get it to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Cool. Good work, Florence. So moving on. Now identify hazards and controls and risks. So we've already done that, but this is just a little bit more in more detail. Okay, so all workplaces must follow a process to identify hazards and remove or reduce the associated risk. In most workplaces, so your employer or your supervisor would have already identified all of these assessed hazards and possibly put controls in as well. However, there is always chances for new hazards to occur and not be identified. So therefore, workers must know how to identify workplace hazards and associated risks. You've also got to know how to implement controls. So in your environment, it would be like a cafe setting. Now, if you identify a hazard in the workplace, you've got to discuss with your team or supervisor how to eliminate it. Okay, Florence, or reduce the potential harm. So this here is a hierarchy of control. Right, now the hierarchy of control helps to plan the best way to deal with a hazard as it provides a structure to select the most effective control. So essentially what it does, okay, so say for instance, we're going to talk about the spill, or maybe we could talk about chemicals, right, in your kitchen at your cafe per se. So if you can't eliminate it, because you need chemicals to be able to clean once you finish the job, right? You then substitute it with something more environmentally friendly. Okay, or maybe just have gloves or something else like that. You then isolate it, so this is stopping people from getting into that area, so close it off from staff as well. Engineering controls, so put an engineered control in. Admin and then PPE. So we've already pretty much gone through this part, but at the bottom here it says, removing the hazard so far is reasonably practicable, or reducing the risk associated with it so far as to, again, reasonably practicable. So examples of common hazards, I have added these into your activity presentation. If you'd just like to open that up for me. So what we'll go through is these on here, and again you do have a copy of this, beautiful. So examples of common hazards, so you've got manual tasks, so this would probably be having quite a lot in your setting, so that in your workplace. So tasks involving obviously awkward postures, high or sudden force, repetitive movements. You've got gravity, so what we spoke about, or what you spoke about earlier, So falling objects, falls, slips and trips of people. Noise, so exposure to loud noise. I suppose working in a cafe you would get that quite a bit because you will have a lot of people in there. Electricity, so exposure to live electrical wires, machinery and equipment, so being caught in the moving parts of machinery or being hit by moving vehicles. Now this would be a big one for you, so hazardous chemicals. Alright, so exposure to acid, alkaline, heavy metals, asbestos. And another thing probably on hazardous chemicals, could also talk about maybe the way food is handled in a cafe environment. Again, we've also got extreme temperatures, biological, so microorganisms, again, a big thing for you. Radiation, and then you've got psychological, so excessive time, pressure. Bullying, violence, poor support, and workplace relationships. So now we're going to do our first activity. What I will get you to do, Florence, is just flip over to the next page. So this is what you want to do. So what I want you to do is identify the different hazards you can see. And then once you're finished, we'll go through it together. So, all done?
Yeah.
Alright, so how many were you able to identify for me, Florence?
7. I've just having trouble with my arm.
Okay, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
So this will be, so what we'll do for the next activity, because we do have another one coming up. What we'll do is I will just talk through it with you, and we can just identify it together.
Okay.
And we'll do it for this one as well.
Yeah.
So what hazards were you able to pick up for me?
First of all, the guy bending over, he's not bending with his knees.
So, yep, so posture.
Posture, yeah. And again, the guy with the boxes, he's handling too many boxes. They're going to fall on top of him, and again, his posture,
Yep.
like his shoulders put him out of alignment or something like that.
Okay, yep. Potentially be one. What's another one?
That hanging up, I don't know if it's
Exposed wires?
Yeah. And the woman on her phone or whatever it is, by the machines, shouldn't be there, and her dress is caught on the machine. And then you have the forklift in the actual aisle, shouldn't be there, or it's a spill or something underneath it.
Cool, very good. So what I've also identified, which possibly you might not have been able to pick up on, is if they're in a working environment where there's going to be machinery around them, do you not think they should be wearing a hard hat?
Yeah, should have PPE on.
Correct PPE. I don't even think if they've got a visor, or maybe their tops are coloured. You never know because it's in white. Another thing I pick up with is he has sandals on, so he doesn't have the protective shoes. He also has headphones on, so he's not aware of his surroundings already. Now, in terms of this woman here, do you not think we should have exclusion zones?
Yeah.
Outline where she could go?
Yeah.
Because obviously she might possibly be an admin. She doesn't have the correct PPE either. And yeah, that's essentially it. So identifying risk obviously is a huge part of any workplace you work in. You need to be able to handle them, identify, and then place controls in place, or put controls in place. Now these are the risks to the common hazards we spoke about earlier. So if you don't have the correct manual, if you don't know the correct way to handle the manual task, right, or manual handling, you could possibly receive damage to joints, ligaments and muscles. Gravity, so if you do fall, fractures, bruises, lacerations, injuries or death. Permanent exposed to permanent hearing could cause probably damage or loss of hearing. If you are struck by any live wires, electricity, right, you get shock, burns, damage to organs, again, injury or death. Machinery equipment, if you get stuck in between the machines, permanent injuries or death. So a lot of these common hazards are or could have a high potential risk if they are not controlled properly in the environment. We've got hazardous chemicals, so respiratory illness, cancers or dermatitis. And then the last four of that one. So biological, COVID-19 was a huge outbreak for us in the last few years just gone. We've got extreme temperatures, so heat can cause burns and heat stroke. Radiation is burns, cancer or blindness. And psychological, mental health, physical or work-related fatigue. So for this activity, I have tried to find something that was more in an environment that you're familiar with. Obviously this is not what you're doing, but it's just a cafe setting that I was able to document on here. So from here, Florence, what are we able to identify?
Again, PPE, like she's got no gloves on, cutting her greens. There's spillage on the floors.
Here?
Yeah, there's knives that just up the wrong way and it's dangerous. Got chemical there with the skull.
Too close to food, hey?
Yeah. Manual handling again, the guy up top of the pots. And again, PPE with the fats look like they're overloaded.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, potential, the oven is
burnt patties, this looks like it's burnt, so now we're able to easily identify them. So what controls will we put in place then? So if there's a spill, what will we have?
You'll get signs out.
Signs.
And
Maybe we could have a knife rack for this.
Yeah.
Maybe we could store the chemicals away in storage. It looks like a door behind there. Okay, so very good.
Gloves.
So we're then going to talk about how to recognise an emergency. So threats to life or health, unusual behaviour, dangerous environment, and then you've also got severe pain or injury. So that's how you identify an emergency. In emergencies, right, we have things like this called an incident report. So after you've found out what the emergency was, say for instance, someone, will use your example, someone slipped over, they hit their head on the corner of a side table. What would you then do in this position? Have you filled out an incident report before?
No.
Beautiful. So then you obviously know what it entails. So you've got to put your name, the witnesses. What else do you have to put in there? There's codes down here, so what kind of accident it is, or what kind of incident it becomes, or emergency. You've then got to describe what had happened, what time it happened. So that the things I like to involve in those incident reports are who, what, where, when, and why. Huge key point for identifying and reporting emergencies. So this is an example, however, you did say to me that your hand was a little bit sore, so we'll try and this does involve writing. So what we're going to do, just to be able to cater to obviously your learning needs, I'm just going to talk through the rest of the presentation rather than getting you to write down. Okay. So I was just going to do an example of someone cutting or making a sandwich with a cleaver rather than a bread knife. So if she made a sandwich with a cleaver instead of a bread knife, what could the potential risk be? Chop your finger off. How would we manage that? What would we do instead? Obviously use what you're meant to be using, right? Bread knives. So, this is another one. Okay, again, no writing, I'll just talk through it. So Taylor was working at a cafe when she noticed a small fire caused by a faulty electrical wire. Although she saw the fire extinguisher nearby, she had not received any training on how to use it. As a result, Taylor evacuated the cafe. Unfortunately, the fire spread and the cafe was destroyed because the fire brigade was too late. So did Taylor handle this situation appropriately? Yeah? So then, what would have happened if Taylor did know how to use the equipment? So then, maybe, obviously it wasn't Taylor's fault, she didn't have the correct training. So there is an acronym that is used that is potentially at most restaurants or cafes. So it's a PASS acronym. So this is how to extinguish a fire. So you've got pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the trigger, and then sweep across the base of the fire. So had she known these, do you think she would have been able to use the equipment available?
Yeah.
So we're coming up to the last section of our presentation now. We're just going to watch again. This video is 7 simple steps to manage work health and safety. Once you finish that, if you're wanting to, we can have a little bit of discussion. Otherwise, all I will need you to do once you've completed the course is to fill out your learner form. So what this entails is pretty much how you thought the presentation went, how you thought my delivery of materials were, what I could improve on, and things like that. Alright, so let's just watch this quick little video, and then that would conclude my presentation.
This short presentation will provide you with 7 simple steps to manage your work health and safety in your business. Getting started. Successful safety cultures are led from the top, where your actions and attitudes send a message to your workers that you're serious about their health and safety. Effective safety management in a workplace requires involvement from everyone to make it safe. To do this successfully, people need to understand their responsibilities and how they can meet them. Talking with your team. Effective consultation encourages greater awareness of issues and can lead to improved safety outcomes. Seeking workers' input when making decisions shows them that you take their health and safety seriously. This includes concerns about your workers' well-being, because mental health is as important as physical health. Follow up on your workers' suggestions and make improvements with a record of safety discussions. Managing hazards. Part of managing health and safety in your workplace is controlling the risks. To do this, you will need to accurately identify potential hazards. Having identified potential hazards, you'll need to first consider if they can be eliminated. If this is not possible, then consider the risks involved and put practicable measures in place to control them. Information, training, and supervising your team. Training, including workplace inductions, is one of the best ways to ensure that the people in your business are safe while at work. It provides workers with information about the potential risks associated with their work, the safety policies and procedures you have in place, as well as how to work safely and deal with emergencies. It also ensures that your workers understand their work environment, their job expectations, and employment conditions. Maintaining a safe workplace. It is everyone's responsibility to maintain a safe workplace. Regular communications between management and staff is crucial to keeping safety a priority. Add safety as an item to your regular meetings so staff feel comfortable bringing up any issues as they arise. Keeping records. Written records of your work health and safety activities, near misses and incidents are important for your business. These records can help demonstrate what you have done to manage safety in your workplace. This can be important if an incident occurs requiring investigation. Monitoring and reviewing to improve. Managing and improving health and safety needs to be ongoing. Safety processes and operation evolve with time, and workers and equipment can come and go, changing the risks in your workplace. When you actively seek to identify hazards, inform, train and supervise your team, you can be confident that you are managing the risks and the people exposed to them. Guidance material and templates are available to complement these steps and provide you with more information. For assistance with work health and safety in your business, you can request a free visit from our small business safety advisors by calling 1800 019 115.
Okay. Now that concludes our presentation. So is there any questions that you have for me today?
No, thank you very much. I've taken quite a bit from this. Thank you.
That's okay, Florence. So, what I want you to do is you're more than welcome to take these home just so you can have a little bit more read in depth, and also so you have extra information. What I need you to do now is just to fill out your learner evaluation form.
Yeah.
Okay, just so that I can improve again my training. If you want to, you're more than welcome to fill it out and possibly scan it back into me in case you.
Can I do that?
Yeah, of course you can. Yep, no, that's okay. What we'll do is you'll take it home with you, you'll fill it out, and I just need you to scan it into me so that I do have that evaluation to better my understanding and presentation of this course. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.